Hello and welcome to the very next episode of Dancing in the Shadows. I'm your host. So the last episode we talked a little bit about my grandfather and his service in the war, as well as I revealed the cult religion that I was raised in, which is the Jehovah's Witnesses. And you know what? I have to say, I want to say this first and foremost, that the people of this organization are of some of the purest, kindest people I have ever had the privilege of knowing. The people are great. It's the conditioning that the organization places upon these people that really change their DNA. Some of what this organization does for the people is good, in that those that do absolutely adopt the word, they're really good people. Pure, they're kind, gentle, friendly, obedient to God's word. Most of them are trustworthy, but there is some that are extremely evil. And it's like with any kind of religion, it really just depends on the person. But there is some things that designed within this ideology, some practices, I should say, that allow evil to permeate. And one of the things I'm going to talk about now is very controversial within the organization. It's very much been confirmed. It's real. It's happening right now, this moment. And they have no plans to change this rule that's in the organization. And I have to tell you, this is shocking. It's going to be shocking to most of you and needs to come out into the open. And it involves children, sadly. The witness organization has a rule called the two-witness rule. And essentially what this is, if a child is abused by a member of this organization, a family member, could be another brother or sister, it really depends. If this child is abused and this child comes forward to one of the elders and reports the abuse, could be physical, could be emotional, could be sexual. If this child has the strength to come to one of the elders and report this person, they pull the child into a room with 3 other elders, and elders are men. They're not women. Women are not allowed to become elders of the church. And they bring this child into a room with the accused, and then ask the child to repeat their allegations of abuse. Now, 2 things can happen at this point. The child will freeze up and not say anything. Then they'll receive counsel, maybe be disciplined, and perhaps be warned about telling of lies. Let that sink in for a second. Now, if the child does have the strength and the conviction to report the abuse in front of the accused, they then turn to the accused and ask them if it's true. If the accused denies the allegations, then the burden of proof comes back to the child, and these elders ask the child, is there a witness to this abuse? How unconscionable. Like this abuser is going to go, hey, come over here. I'm about to abuse this child. I need a witness. It's not going to happen. And as a result of this, they are both counseled. Sometimes the accused is disciplined, put on a private reprieve, or maybe even disfellowshipped from the organization. But the authorities are never brought into this situation. It's all handled internally. And how rampant is this abuse? Well, we can extrapolate the data. There was a case in Australia that recently came to light. It's all over YouTube. The governing body of this organization, the Jehovah's Witness organization, was brought before the court system in Australia. And it came to light, the two-witness rule came to light in this case. 90%, maybe 95% of the Jehovah's Witnesses that follow this organization have no idea of this rule. Only those that have been abused know of this rule, and those accused. It turns out that the Jehovah's Witness organization has recorded every instance of abuse. And it was reported there was over 1,006 child abusers recorded. And if I'm not mistaken, the number of abused was, I could be wrong, I might have to double check this, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,080 abuse cases. So what does that say? That says that many of these abusers abused again because they put them on a private reprieve or a disfellowshipping. That doesn't mean that they're not allowed to come back into the organization. They are welcomed back as long as they remain silent and sit in private in the back. They must not associate with any other members of the organization, and till such time the elders believe that he has been repentant and then he's welcomed back and celebrated. Yay, you're back. It's so good. I'm so happy to have you back. Most of the people in this organization have no idea why this person was disfellowshipped. There's speculation, there's usually rumors, but there's no confirmation. And many of these abusers will take these children and they'll pair up and they'll go out in service, the door-to-door work. And I don't know about you, but if you have children, I don't think that you would feel comfortable with this, would you? I certainly wouldn't. So Australia's population is a fraction of the population of just California alone. So if you're to extrapolate the data and look at the population density of every state, the Jehovah's Witness organization is in every state of this country, in every community. There's over 8 million followers worldwide. It's quite feasible that we have between 19,000 and 24,000 child pedophiles unreported within the Jehovah's Witness organization. That's staggering. It's scary. But to have this number of abusers within the organization is intolerable. They don't want to bring this negative light to the organization. It's a corporation that makes a lot of money. And just like any corporation, they want to protect the bottom line and at the cost of their own people. It's just terrible. Now, I don't want to focus on the dark here with all of this. I want to talk about something that's interesting and quite unique. You don't really hear people talking about this too often, but I want to talk about wizardry. You know, in the old days, there was these stories of Merlin and spells and connotations, and we think about these things as if they're fables, things in our history that aren't real. Now, I have to tell you, it's very, very real. Spells are real, and we say them on a regular basis, and we don't even know it. I'll give you an example. This is just a minor example, but you ever told somebody who may have been feeling down on themselves that, you know what, don't change a thing about yourself. You're terrific. Now, consciously, we say that, and we feel like we're giving that person a gift of words. But the reality is their subconscious mind is picking up, oh, so we should not evolve. We should stay exactly the way we are. That's a minor example, but it is very true. Our subconscious mind is picking up on everything that our conscious mind doesn't pick up. This is why subliminal advertising works. Subliminal advertising works on the subconscious mind, just as it does on the conscious mind. A slogan that you read is something that your conscious mind may pay attention to. The imagery of this advertisement is something your subconscious mind may take a mental picture of and analyze. And you may remember, back in the 70s and 80s, the advertising agency getting in trouble for putting suggestive imagery inside of the advertisement covertly. There was a lot of liquor companies that would put in naked reflections in the ice of the glass of whiskey. This is a form of wizardry. This is a form of subconscious programming. Hollywood has exploited this as well, both verbally and subconsciously. So programming is all around us. We are programmable beings. We go into hypnosis on a daily basis. Self-hypnosis. Example, you're driving down the road, you're heading somewhere, and you're like, whoa, before you know it, you're there already. Just time flew by. It's because you went into a state of consciousness called theta. There's alpha, delta, theta, gamma. And these different states of consciousness, these different states of relaxation, allow for programmability. It allows your mind to go into suggestible states. This is how hypnosis works as well. Something that I've studied for many years. I used to own a magic store, and I sold a lot of these products on my magic store. A lot of how-to magic DVDs, a lot of how-to hypnosis, covert conversational hypnosis, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. All of these things are real. And, these phrases that we say on a daily basis, things like, oh, it's a piece of cake. These are all expressions or idioms or phrases, but really what they are spells. These are phrases that we adopt that shortcut conversation, but place a subconscious reality in the person that we're speaking to. Curiosity killed the cat. Okay, when we say that, what we're saying to that person is, you better stop nosing around or you're going to get yourself killed. I mean, that is actually kind of a scary thought when you break it down. It's just one of many popular phrases, sayings, idioms, or spells that we use in our daily life. And it's something that we should be more conscious of. There are positive spells as well that we should adopt. But these negative ones, we should exercise out of our vocabulary because they do have an effect, whether you know it or not. Unconsciously, it has an effect. This is just a couple things I wanted to talk about. And I think this conversation on wizardry and spells, spells the word itself. It's derived from spelling, our language. These things are very real. And it's not until you merge your conscious mind with your unconscious or your subconscious mind that you begin to see these things. All of this stuff becomes clear to you. So I want you to pay attention to the common phrases. You know, we're in conversation with somebody and then we're triggered to say something like a phrase or a spell. And it's these times that we need to take a step back and look at it and go, wait, I should not say that anymore. That's one of those spells that Jason was talking about. So, I don't mean to burst your bubble. There's another one, burst your bubble. And that tells the person that, I'm actually poking you in a negative way. So, a lot of these things that we say or adopt into our vocabulary should be carefully weighed before we say them. That's just something I wanted to talk about. We're going to get more into my adolescence and growing up and some of the challenges I faced early on that have led me to the point of deep depression that I'm in right now. But I'm going to lift myself out of the shadows and into the light. And I want to take you with me because I know many people out there right now are suffering. And they're going through some of their own life challenges. And I have to tell you that the darkness is a place to really test your limits of strength. And there is light on the horizon. Light is always in the future. And it's the direction we always need to strive for. We have shades of light that we experience throughout our life. But occasionally we'll find ourselves in a very dark place and we don't know where the light is. Well, stick with me. Thanks for subscribing, and thank you for listening. It really does mean a lot.